Did you know that the drugs often prescribed for dementia only provide minimal benefits, and some have severe side effects, including death? Your doctor might act like these meds are cures, but the reality is far different. This video will reveal the disappointing truth about dementia meds. Watch to the end where I share a recent study that concluded that a readily available natural supplement may be more effective than all dementia drugs on the market. The stakes are high. Approximately 55 million people worldwide are affected by dementia, a number expected to triple by 2050. In the US alone, the Alzheimer's Association estimates the total national cost of caring for individuals with dementia is $321 billion. And this is expected to triple to as much as $1 trillion by 2050 due to the aging population and increasing prevalence of the disease. Despite these numbers, current treatments fail to deliver meaningful benefits. Pharma companies have invested billions in dementia drug research, yet the results are disappointing. The meds on the market offer limited impact, often providing only marginal improvements in cognitive function. And meanwhile, the costs of these drugs continue to rise, placing a substantial financial burden on patients and healthcare systems. In this video, we'll explore the truth about dementia medications and their limitations. More importantly, we'll discuss a natural alternative that some research suggests might outperform prescription drugs. These evidence-based options could offer new hope for your loved one affected by dementia. Part of the challenge in developing drugs for dementia is that dementia is not a single condition. It's actually a symptom with various possible causes. It's like saying you have a headache. The symptom is the headache, but it could be due to stress, a fever, an infection, or too much booze the night before. In the case of dementia, the symptom is brain damage and loss of cognitive function. But the underlying cause could be Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, brain trauma such as been experienced by football players and boxers, or any other of a number of dementia types that have been identified. And each one has its unique characteristics and progression. This makes the search for treatment even harder. A lot of treatments focus on Alzheimer's because it's the most common form of dementia and is responsible for as many as 80% of all cases. The main FDA-approved drugs for dementia fall into a few categories. The first are cholinesterase inhibitors and include drugs like donepezil, galantamine, and rivastigmine. They work by raising levels of certain neurotransmitters in the brain, and the effectiveness of these medications so far is limited. This study, for example, found that these drugs can only improve the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease patients, but can't slow down or reverse the progression of the disease. Another type of Alzheimer's drug called Namenda regulates a different neurotransmitter in the brain. However, the effectiveness of Namenda is also limited. As this study says, use of the drug provides just marginal improvement. So why do these drugs get prescribed at all? If you or your loved one has dementia, it's a terrifying place to be. You want some solution. Your doctor wants to help, and it's not their fault that the drugs that are available that they can prescribe are of limited value. Anything might be better than nothing. My sister and I were in the same predicament many years ago when our mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and they prescribed drugs that frankly had questionable benefit. But the drugs do carry side effects. Many are mild, like nausea and dizziness, and others can be severe. In fact, some dementia drugs have been associated with an increased risk of death. This harsh reality raises serious questions about the risk-benefit ratio of these treatments. Recently, new drugs called lecanemab and donanemab have entered the scene, promising to target the underlying causes of Alzheimer's. They aim to remove amyloid plaque from the brain, which are misfolded protein structures thought to contribute to cognitive decline. Once again, the results have been mixed. This study looked at lecanemab, also known as Leqembi, and found significant cognitive benefits, but the overall clinical significance is still being debated. One troubling aspect about lecanemab is that it was approved by the FDA under accelerated approval. This means that instead of waiting, perhaps many years for long-term clinical trials to demonstrate a drug's actual benefit, the FDA can grant an accelerated approval based on much less data. Accelerated approval is conditional. Drug companies are still required to conduct more analyses to verify the actual benefits of the medicine. The advantage is that patients with serious conditions for which there are no medications in the market can get access to promising therapies earlier. The downside is that these drugs simply may not be proven and may not give the results desired and could even be taken off the market. One troubling issue with lecanemab and another similar drug called aducanumab is that they can lead to brain bleeds. In clinical trials of lecanemab, 17% of the participants experienced brain bleeds. Most cases were mild, but some were serious. As this report confirms, some people died. Experts argue that the exact cause and effect is still being investigated, and the drug's manufacturer says that the deaths were not attributable to the drug. But the prognosis is unclear. And this report confirmed that there's a high risk of brain bleeds resulting from drugs like aducanumab. And as partly due to that, the manufacturer Biogen decided to take it off the market. But the concerns are not just with brain bleeds. The administration of these drugs presents its own set of logistical challenges. You don't just take a pill in the morning. Lecanemab requires regular intravenous infusion and careful monitoring for side effects. This means that you need medical facilities and personnel nearby that are equipped to provide that kind of service. So if you live in a rural area that is far from a major hospital, these drugs might not be available for you anyway. This study revealed that lecanemab is associated with a high rate of infusion reactions. These occurred in almost 27% of the participants. While many were mild to moderate in severity, the frequency of these reactions adds another layer of complexity to the care of patients going through treatment. So the big question we needed to ask for ourselves and our loved ones is, are the modest cognitive improvements worth the real and potentially life-threatening side effects? While pharmaceutical options present significant risks, nature may offer a safer alternative. The search for effective dementia treatments has led research to explore natural remedies with promising results. This study had an unbelievable conclusion. The scientists looked at the effectiveness of these different Alzheimer's drugs. They had these amazing takeaways. Number one, placebos were shown to be more effective than some of the drugs evaluated. And ginkgo biloba, a natural supplement, showed greater effectiveness than many of the drugs evaluated. The researchers concluded, based on the evidence, we suggest that 120 milligrams of ginkgo biloba extract and placebos may be considered as a treatment for Alzheimer's disease for long-term cognition improvement. Yes, taking a sugar pill might give you at least as good an outcome as the drug itself. How does that even happen? As I said before, your doctor wants to help, and these are the tools he or she can offer, because these are the only products that the pharma industry has been able to develop. They've done the best job they can to create solutions that seem to work in certain cases, and they've invested billions of dollars in the development of these drugs, and they need to try to recover their investment. There simply is no great answer at this time. An alternative approach is to explore natural supplements. As the prior study mentioned, ginkgo biloba has potential. It's an ancient tree that is widely cultivated for its nut, as well as for its leaves. And I found it notable that the plant is considered extremely resistant to insects, bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Extracts of ginkgo biloba leaves have been used for thousands of years in traditional Chinese medicine for a wide variety of purposes. And there are tons of studies suggesting that it has possible cognitive benefits. In addition to the one I just cited, this study says the neuroprotective effects of ginkgo biloba support the notion that it may be effective in the treatment and prevention of neurodegenerative disorders such as Alzheimer's disease. And this literature review states that there are many studies that have demonstrated that ginkgo biloba supplementation results in significant improvements in memory, attention, and executive function. So should you rush out and try ginkgo biloba for your loved one? The National Institute of Health states that ginkgo biloba leaf extract appears to be safe when taken in moderate amounts. Side effects may include headache, stomach upset, dizziness, constipation, and skin reactions. And if you have a known bleeding risk, it could possibly increase your risk for bleeding. So it's very much a personal decision. My own bias is to consider first, starting with lifestyle, exercise, and diet, and then to consider natural supplements if they make sense. But based on my experience of caring for my own mom and the lack of results we got with her on ARIA, if I could do it all over again, I certainly would have tried ginkgo biloba. Please note that I do not advocate using natural supplements as a replacement for comprehensive medical care. Rather, they serve as part of a holistic program that includes proper nutrition, good exercise, cognitive stimulation, and social engagement. And you should always consult with your healthcare provider before making any changes or incorporating new products into your routine. So let's wrap this up. There are a number of FDA-approved drugs for dementia which have largely been disappointing. At best, they help control symptoms, but have no impact on the underlying disease. More recent drugs such as lecanemab target the amyloid proteins in the brain and seem to have modestly better results, but they are still in early stage and they are controversial because they promote brain bleeds, and some people have died. One recent comprehensive study showed that a number of popular dementia drugs are no better than a placebo. Some evidence suggests that ginkgo biloba is as effective as any of these meds. Always check with your doctor before undertaking any changes. If your loved one's dementia is advanced, there may be little you can do to correct their cognition, but for the rest of us, the best remedy is lowering risk through a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle that includes exercise. Thank you for watching. See my videos here on other supplements like magnesium L-threonate and Glynac that may have powerful anti-aging effects on brain health. And see my other videos, all related to how you can provide the best care for yourself and your loved ones.